23rd of April last year, Moyo went to claim the body of Themba Ndlovu, a deceased Zimbabwean taxi driver who he claimed was his brother. However, the body was not that of Ndlovu, but rather 31-year-old Katlego Bareng. Moyo is alleged to have acted under false pretenses and claimed the body of Bareng, which was subsequently smuggled into Thabo Beste's cell and set alight. Bareng died under suspicious circumstances after collapsing at a taxi rank in Bloemfontein. His autopsy revealed he sustained blunt force trauma to his head. His death remains the subject of a police investigation. Moyo will reappear alongside Bester, Dr. Nandipa Magudumana, her father, Zolile Sekeleni, and 5 former G4S officials next week. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
And Joburg Finance MMC Dada Morero has allocated 4.3 billion rand to Joburg City Power to refurbish its electricity infrastructure on a 3-year basis. Morero delivered the city's budget of 80.9 billion rand for the next financial year in council this afternoon. Gauteng will be fine tomorrow, Joburg dropping to an overnight low of 4 degrees, peaking at 17, Pretoria 5 and 18, Vereeniging 2 and 16. Lerato Huffela, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
God bless you, Mr. B. So many great memories. So many great stories.
Can you imagine you given a task 2 minutes before kickoff to say, take us to France?
So many great players.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful side. Doctor and Shoes, and of course Neil Tovey and Lucas Radebi, Philemon Mosinga, and they've all got little stories in there of exactly what happened.
Thank you, sir. May you travel as magnificently as you lived.
I always thought that we had a style about the way we play.
Tribute from #MSW on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Former Santos leader, captain, Amazulu defender, Edris Burton. Good evening, sir. I don't even know where your journey begins with somebody like Clive. Now that father figure, Idris, is gone.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I think, when I heard the news, it felt like the same time, the same feeling when I lost my parents. So that's the kind of impact, kind of effect that it had on my life. There was just a special moment where we were in one of our trips to Australia. We were at supper, and there happened to be a bar that was upstairs from the restaurant. Let's just go upstairs and let's just sit around and have a chat. And we sat around the corner, and then one by one, they all heard the meal, and they all happened to come downstairs, and virtually the whole team was there. He said, you see, Steve Crowley is the only one that was a true professional. And as the words were coming out of his mouth, he was the last to walk into.
I think that boss story made Mark Williams very thirsty.
I think Fish was the first. He was next.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Right, in a second, I'll be telling you all about what's going to be happening right here on the Marawa Sports Worldwide. Hey, so many tributes have been pouring through our studios, and I suppose on all of our different platforms right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide. And once again on this Tuesday, we will continue. We've got 2 great doctors in studio. I think already one is in need of medical attention. He's got no better person than the individual that's sitting right next to him. So, yeah, join in. It should be another magical journey.
A mighty king has fallen.
In studio, Mark Williams, former Bafana Bafana striker, scorer of the magical goals that brought us glory in South Africa. He'll tell you that he played for Wolves. On the other side, on the answer, he'll tell you he played for Fulham. I'll believe him. But a former Bafana Bafana great himself, goalkeeper extraordinaire, led by none other than a great captain by the name of Neil Tovey, who joins us live from Durban. What was your final conversation like with Clive?
Actually, just laughing about the real good times, that we had together, and that was one of obviously Clive's greatest attributes, was his ability to have fun, but at the same time we were very focused at our job in hand. Whatever he touched turned to gold. He breathed success. The most important factor around that success was just seeing the stadiums that were full for Bafana Bafana.
Sending heartfelt condolences to the Barker family and the football family across the globe.
So what I can tell you is that a master tactician, a coach who was a brother as well as a father figure who understood the demands of humanity for his players whenever there was an issue or a problem to be attended to. Now, one who would grant them that particular space to heal or to deal with the issue at hand. Now, such beautiful, deep-spoken, from the heart tributes is all that we are seeing this week, as Clive Barker's a golden generation of players continue to fondly remember their late mentor. But Clive not only epitomized a flying plane in his celebration of Bafana Bafana's 96 AFCON triumph, but he literally flew the team to success. It was summarized as Ndizani Bafana, Ndizani. And one of those players whom we all witnessed was the father and son relationship that he shared with Clive as Doc Khumalo. I mean, what a special bond as well that they had. Maybe it was before Doc turned blonde. He's here to reflect with us just how Clive Barker impacted his football career, but not only that, his life in general. Joining him is another member of Clive's winning contingent, another fine gentleman, a giant in his own right who served the game ever so well behind the scenes. An absolute puzzle to the Bafana Bafana puzzle. That missing link, he filled. A man whom Clive depended on to make sure that his players were healed from all manner of injuries. But I've always said that, to me, he was not just a medical doctor. He was a football lover. He was somebody that they could reach out to, talk to, confide in, and even talk tactics, because football is in his DNA. A man Clive depended on to make sure that his players were healed from injuries and in mint condition to step onto the pitch. Dr. Victor Ramatisela is here as well to pay tribute to a man that he knew ever so well. So let me, in this very rare radio moment, welcome two doctors onto the same platform.
Thank you, Rob.
Yes. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, I see, Doc, you're here and you see your former player is probably in need of greater medical attention than he ever needed before.
Certainly, but I won't divulge it. Doctor-patient confidentiality will apply this time. Yeah.
Unless you're watching on YouTube and you can see what's going on there.
Yeah.
that all falls off. Right? How are you feeling, Doc? Thank you. I know it's been difficult for you to navigate or even drive yourself anywhere. Let alone sit down for an interview. But here you made it and you said, you know what, for Clive Barker, you cannot miss an opportunity to come and pay tribute. Just firstly, though, we talked about father and son.
Yeah.
We talked about relationship. I don't even ask you a leading question. How does Doc feel right now, given what's happened?
Yeah, well, Rob, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, I never thought this day will come actually for me to be talking about Clive, and he's gone. But then who am I, because obviously that's how we're all going to depart. And the beauty about the whole thing is that I managed to visit him, and I saw him while he was still struggling with the disease that he had. And I was a little bit confused at some stage, because I went there to shoot a documentary scene, where I wanted him to be involved or to be part of it. But he didn't know that I was going to be there. So as I walked in that lounge, he turned and he was like, "Doggies." I was like, "Hey, okay, coach, how are you, coach?" "Hey, all right." Now the crew, they were wondering, why am I still calling him coach? Because
he doesn't coach you.
No, but he will remain a coach.
Sure.
Yeah. Yo, Rob. I had a conversation with him, and he started asking about former players. "Dog, where's Eric? Is he still doing well at Pirates?" I said, "No, coach. Tinkler is at City, Cape Town City. And where's Fish? Is he okay? Hellman, John, and Shoes?" I was like, "Ish, yo." Now, I don't know whether was I supposed to be honest and tell him, but I just said, "No, they're all okay, coach." So, it was like I don't know how to call it or give it a name, but I asked myself, is this the coach that I saw our first game in 1996 against Cameroon in the dressing room in that Sunnyside hotel, who was telling us what to do or what to expect? Today, he's like in these conditions. I was like, no ways. Wow. And we kept on talking, and then, where's my Mercedes?
Linda.
Is Linda still playing? Oh, no, coach. Linda is around, but it's been a while. I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
But then he will always say, I shouldn't have. I let you down. I let you guys down. I said, "What are you talking about, coach?" He said, "I shouldn't have resigned because I would have won it." So I knew he was talking about France 98.
Yeah.
Because he resigned, I think it was after Saudi Arabia
Confederations
Cup.
Yeah.
Said, and again, I'm so sorry, Togi. That was my worst nightmare. That was my worst mistake I've done when I took you off against Brazil. I regret. I would have been probably the first coach to beat Brazil in Africa. I said, "Coach, it's all right. It's gone. It's water under the bridge now." So up until then, I sat with the wife, then explained that his condition is like this and that, But funny enough, when I walked in, he said "Doc," but I don't know why he couldn't remember other guys, what they were up to and all that. But maybe the talk is he can explain better.
Yeah, I think it's what they call it, Louis dementia.
Or dementia.
Yeah, just obviously something we shared with Andre Aronson yesterday as we were leaving, was he was trying to put a timeline to when he probably experienced something similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he said he remembers he went as far back as 2016, where he says he bumped into Clive, greeted him, and he says he could tell that it took about 3 or 4 seconds for Clive to look at him, register, then say, "Oh, Andre,
yes." Yeah.
But he says, thankfully, he was able to remember him, but the reaction told him that no, there was something that was wrong here. And like you rightfully say, and I thank you for the honesty as well of how you answered that and given us a real life experience of what that would have felt like if you don't know that a John Schumacher was passed away. let alone John Mweti in recent times.
Recent times, yes.
Tin clipping at Pirates and not at Cape Town City. So all of these, Dr. Victor Matisela, an ardent football fan through and through, one of the most successfully led individuals in the South African football psyche, whether at club level or at international level, and somebody that I'm extremely grateful for that we can have his wisdom here in the studio. Always good to see you, Doc, and appreciate you taking the time because, again, friendships were formed and bonds were made in that time that you spent time at Bafana Bafana. Let me get your personal reaction.
Thank you very much, Rob, and thanks for the invite. I have no intentions of dwelling over the Lewy body's dementia, which is a condition that Clive is suffering from. First, we don't have permission from the family to talk about it as it relates to Clive, and we need to respect that. Suffice to say, it is a condition that is characterized or that is caused mainly by protein deposits in the brain that lead to dysfunction of the chemicals in the brain. And the manifestations of which are chiefly cognitive function, that is where intellectual functions get disabled or deteriorate over a period of time. So memory will be one of the first things that goes, especially long-term memory as opposed to short-term memory. And then we begin to have problems with your speech, a little bit of a stutter and a slurred speech. Movement also becomes involved. It's got 7 different stages, this condition. As a movement becomes a problem, they start having tremors sometimes, and they have difficulty in walking as it progresses, and then later and later it progresses to a point where they have difficulty in swallowing, difficulty in breathing, and then eventually they demise from this condition. One of my biggest regrets was that I could see that Clive's condition was deteriorating, and I would have loved to meet with him and to give him support and the family. And I kept on postponing. The last time I spoke to him, I was on a different radio station doing a lifetime interview, and they had invited Clive to come in. Please go and get that recording. It was on let's say the FM, and the words that Clive said to me on that day were extremely, extremely moving. And I'm happy that he had an opportunity to say those words to me, and because I had a very, very special relationship with him. And one of those things that gave me pleasure is that there was one thing between Clive and I that remained unresolved for a long time, and I was happy that at the launch of his book, we sorted out that matter. You remember when we came back from Saudi Arabia and Clive resigned and all the technical team left. Except Augusto Palacios, and all of us, were made to leave the national team. I later joined the national team and to go to France and Burkina Faso in 1998. And I think that in itself created a bit of a pressure where maybe Clive thought I could have contributed somewhat to the situation that led to his unexpected resignation.
Yeah.
And there was always that uneasiness and
tension.
And that lasted for many years without being resolved. And finally, we got to talk on that day, and he said, "Look, I got to understand much later that you had nothing to do with this, and your return to the national team had nothing to do with anything." And he said he was happy that at least one of the people that worked with him managed to get to the 1998 World Cup, because it was a sore point for him that after so many struggles in qualifying for 1998 that he couldn't take the team there. It was one of his biggest regrets.
I think let's get back to that when we come back from a break and chat about those, because I think both of you will have the greatest insight that a lot of us wouldn't. There was a fatherly figure side, there was a jovial side, there was a very ambitious side to Clive Barker, but a humanitarian nonetheless.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.
Emotions. We're ruled by them, they say. It was so emotional. Stop being so emotional. Emotions ran high last night. So-and-so is too emotional. And while they're probably right, emotions are a pretty terrible investment tool because they don't play by the rules of common sense. Emotions don't stop and think. They're definitely not calm, or they wouldn't be so emotional, would they? It's why they have no place in long-term investing, where the emotions of the day are replaced by the preparations for tomorrow. Because in a world ruled by emotion, it's best that we are not. Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
R9 per month over 36 months. Plus, add 149 Rand per month over 36 months for the Huawei Watch 3 eSIM. Come experience it for yourself at Vodacom World. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
When you're indulging in a sneaky lunch break with your work bestie.
When you have a meat craving and you know just the burger to satisfy it.
When you've remembered it's somebody's birthday and which classic milkshake is their favorite.
Mm-hmm. When you're celebrating a touch rugby win with the boys.
Mm-hmm. Whatever your reason, everyone's welcome at a Wimpy at Engine. Even you, muddy rugby guy. So, come on in and you could win one of 5 Toyota Starlets just by spending 200 Rand. Engine Wimpy. Love the journey. T's and C's apply.
Get your Lotto Star voucher at any Pick n Pay, QualiSave, Hyper, Clothing, Liquor and Express stores today. Log in to lottostar.co.za and click Deposit. Go to Vouchers and select Lotto Star Voucher. Enter the voucher code. Redeem and start betting on your favorite game. Lotto Star, your world of live games. Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Welcome to Dial A for Action.
Hi, I'm calling because I haven't had some action in a while.
Okay, what are you into?
So I like a really tall guy with blonde hair and sexy eyes.
Uh-huh.
He must have big arms and can handle his weapons proper.
I see. What else?
And when they're on a mission, the guy can skop, skiet and donor.
Excuse me?
Ja, skop, skiet and
Don't miss out on the ultimate high-octane action film of the year. Tyler Rake lives. Watch Extraction 2, streaming 16 June, only on Netflix.
Thank you, and deep respect, Clive, for everything you have done for our country and for Bafana Bafana.
To John Barker, son to Clive Barker, who's on the line.
You know, it's a tough week for all of us, for the country, for the soccer fraternity, and in particular, our family. So I really appreciate that sentiment. Thank you, Robert.
I know the last time we spoke, John, there was hope.
The last time we spoke, there was a lot of hope and a lot of optimism about him possibly being around for a lot longer. And, you know, the sad thing is that he has been sick for the last 6 months. You know, you can't believe that it happens. I really thought that he would be around at least till the end of the year, you know, maybe a bit longer.
Sending heartfelt condolences to the Barker family and the football family across the globe.
Good evening, Robert, and good evening to the listeners of MSW. I would like as well to thank Utatu Barker, and then I just want to share that I will never forget the day that I met him in 1997 in the Karoo on my first trip to Cape Town, and he was driving a white Tez, and I can still feel his hand when he shook my hand. And then I would like to wish him well rest, and then I wish the family as well closure, and then they must know that he is South Africa, and South Africa is him, and there's no other person or other coach that will match the love that this nation had or have for him. And ngalomazwi ke nthetha ukuthi ke hayi balale ngenxebe ekhaya.
Love those words. He is South Africa in many ways than one. That's exactly what I said yesterday. When you're a national team coach, when you're coaching a Bafana Bafana, you're not coaching a province or a little dorpy somewhere. You are carrying the hopes. You're singing the national anthem. You put the pride of South Africa. You historically have changed the landscape of football in South Africa because nobody has done it ever since. Who knows when this will ever end? So that we stop talking about the class of 96. Yeah, we love them. But look at where we are, 2023, and we still refer back to that. I can understand the English that still refer back to 1966. When was the last time they won a World Cup. We haven't even gotten close anywhere to a World Cup, and yet we are such a dominant force on the African continent, were back then, and that is why even with the FIFA rankings we were able to get to the 19s and the 16s in the FIFA World Rankings, something that again we're not able to do. But do form a part of the conversation if you must. 011-8838-947. You're listening to Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, also live on Vuma FM, Rise FM, and on Sowetan Live. And apologies to the other stations. I know you managed to join us late. I believe there was a bit of a technical. But I'm happy that we all aligned. Also live on YouTube. If you want to see the two doctors together, this is your rare opportunity to do that. So just to clear the air, Dr. Ramatisela, with what you were saying before I had to take that spot break, is that it was a conversation that was needed between yourself and Clive to clear the air, because you also lived in an era where the so-called backstabbing was a big thing. And if somebody that you worked with would have and harbor that feeling, it also doesn't sit well on both sides.
I was first introduced to Clive Barker in late January of 1994.
Yeah.
I get called by the late Sticks Marawa to say, listen, we have just appointed a new coach, and I have said to him, you are the only person who can help him out. I said, what is this now? He says, Augusto Palacios, who was the previous coach, had left in a half to join a team in Turkey. And unfortunately, he had been using his own personal computer for the statistics of the team, which he left with. So they've just appointed a new coach, and the coach has got nothing to work with. And they said, look, there's only one person in the technical team who's got a memory that will assist you to get all your statistics, who played for South Africa, who played for Zambia, for Nigeria, for whoever. And they said, no, it's possible, I'll get you somebody. Don't worry about the laptop that had disappeared. I was actually taken aback, because I thought at that point, after South Africa had been receiving 4x4s, that they would go for a coach with an international repute, international experience, a coach of, that would command some respect on the continent. And they went for a local coach, and a white one for that matter. Yeah. I mean, I had my own reservations. Then I met Clive Barker for breakfast the following day. And, he was asking me who was playing for South Africa against Zimbabwe, the first match that we played against Nigeria. And I was just wrestling out the names and the statistics, who scored and whatever. And he was amazed. He said, you have a love for this game, and you have a photographic memory. I think you are going to be a very, very, very good asset for me as I venture into this world. And our relationship was started from that point. I'd never fought with Clive Barker ever since, except once in our first match in Mabatu when we were playing Zimbabwe. We're leading 1-0, we're in the injury time, and he looks up to me and he says, how many minutes left? And I said, about 3 minutes. He said, don't tell me F about 3. I want to know exactly how much time is left. I said, you must F, you get your own watch then. And he hugged me at the end of the match. And from that point onwards, I was basically his confidant.
Yes.
I say to people, when a player is a little bit off color, and consistently so, Clive Barker would walk up to me and say, Doc, now don't give me a nonsense. You know what, Caesar's form has been deteriorating in the last 3 camps. What is wrong with the boy? I said, no, coach, I don't know. He said, I know you know. I said, no, coach, it's a personal matter. I said, what personal matter? And he would push me into a corner where I would eventually share with him, some of the difficulties that the players were facing. And it was amazing that Clive would travel. Clive would get into his car and travel and deal with players' issues. Clive, I was telling somebody that Clive, we've dealt with pub-health issues in that team. Robert, we've had ladies dumping babies.
No way.
I'm telling you.
Ladies dumping babies at the hotel in camp.
Correct.
Hey.
Correct.
No Nestum number 1, no purity, no nothing.
And Clive, and it was amazing how Clive understood the African culture in dealing with some of those matters. And he would embrace such matters and talk, okay, fine. He said, no, don't get feel into this one. You and I must sort it out. Yeah. And then we had gone with Clive to sort out those type of issues because we believed in our players. The players confided in us, and we're like parents. And I was a brother, he was a father to all of these players, and we dealt with all of those things. And people don't understand that. Leave the tactics out, leave the motivation out. Just that family spirit that was created by Clive in that team was one of the major things that made that team to go the lengths that it went.
And that's important information again, Doc. I'm not going to throw you into the pub kill stories, though.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this.
I'm not divulging names.
No, but I didn't know about this.
Okay.
It's for the first time.
Before I go
of
to
course,
you, Doc.
you can't know it was the issue that we are dealing with a particular person.
And sometimes the guys don't even know that
of
they're
course,
the baby.
and they mustn't know. We must deal with the issue, get the player to score a hat trick, and you guys are surprised that the K has regained their form.
Sipo in Kempton Park, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Prabhupada.
Welcome to the show, man, Sipo. You know what? It's one of those things. I was even saying to some of the colleagues earlier that Clive would have hated everything to be somber. Because it wasn't in his personality, and also because he joked so much with his players and the staff and the personnel around him, that we make it a balance again. You wanted to send your condolences as well, Sipo. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Prabhupada, man. It has been long want to come in to comment, and thank you to the listeners out there, and you and the studio there. I hear that even the Dr. Khumalo 16 Vimo Shabane is there. Yeah, we still remember in that 1996 Bafana Bafana. I want to say to the family of the Clive Doc Barker, they say, condolences. The feeling that they are feeling, we are feeling as well, because we lost a soldier or a leader that show the football that we have talented in the Republic of South Africa in 1996. I still remember where I was 7 years old when Clive Barker, when Bafana Bafana score, he just fly around to the stadium. We still miss that moment. That football, Dr. Khumalo, and Helman and Kelele, the football that they were playing, it's no longer there. And I don't know, perhaps I want to say what Clive Barker left in the Republic of South Africa, the legends and the commitment to unite the players in their camps. You will be able to see that when they are playing together. So then we did it in the national team currently, perhaps, and we saying as well we are feeling pain what had happened to the nation. Clive, rest in peace. We will always remember you with your work and always perhaps. I'm saying Dr. Khumalo, my brother. I'm a Sandawana, by the way. But thank you, perhaps, to allow me today send the condolences to the Barker's family and to the nation as well, not on the Barker's family, because Barker is our leader in the football.
Absolutely agree with you, Sipo. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Sipo joining us in Kempton Park. Just also peeling off, Doc, from what Dr. Vic had to say. Why and how, though? Was it about a Clive who was well-schooled in South African culture? Durban City, AmaZulu, Bushbucks, and then...
Aces?
Yeah. Mpumalanga Aces, gave them what he gave them. Santos gave them the Bob Save Super Bowl, etc. So, for me, that is already a layer of learnership of all sorts, whether it's black, colored, Indian, whatever nationality you are. And he would try his own Zwinglish here and there to speak with Clive because he felt that he needed to. Do you think that played a part in him understanding you guys as a group of players?
Yeah, a lot, Rob. Because I think that on its own, that's a foundation. And if you work with a group of players, you don't understand their strength, their background, you lose the dressing room.
Yeah.
But then Clive has his own way of dealing with an individual, group, and the team.
Yeah.
And not only Clive, like the doc said, his technical team actually, you know. But one thing I can tell is that Clive can make you to go out there and be like a vulture or a lion. Then you want to actually chow your opponents. If a Mark Williams, we're having breakfast the day of the final of 96, we're walking towards the restaurant to have breakfast. Oh, sorry, there was a room that was secured for us. So I'm asking Mark, you're going the opposite direction. We're going to have breakfast. And where are you going when? I don't know. I don't want breakfast. I'll chow Tunisia. Yo. I was like, what? Mark? And, you know, now these are the kinds of players you'll find in Clive's team. Doggies will tell you, we'll travel, say, somewhere in Africa, and everything, it's not the way we thought it would be.
The planning.
We once went to a country where they told us they have only, in that hotel, we waited for almost 4 or 5 hours for that particular parliamentarian Apume. Then we took over the hotel. Now we were hungry. Safa chartered the plane. We have our own food, our own chef, water, because the dog here, we should drink tap water. How? 6:30, we have to go and have dinner. So there was this norm within the squad. We have to wait for Tovi. Tovi will assemble at a meeting point, number one. Then we can't go if Phil is not there. So we have to wait for him. So we walk as a team, as a group. We get there. Mtogisi says, gents, this hotel, they've got only 8 plates, 8 cutlery. Everything is 8. I'm like, come on. You remember Mtogisi?
Very well.
I was like, now what's going to happen? Because we are all hungry. And Clive's like, come down, guys, come down.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, we left South Africa. It was early hours, around 10 a.m. We didn't have lunch. We only had breakfast. Now there we are. We're going to represent the country. Then now he came up with a strategy. I don't know him and who. They said keepers plus defenders, first group to eat.
It is going to get to the midfield.
Then after that, it's the midfielders. After the midfielders, strikers.
Yeah.
You know, the treatment, it was very, very, very bad. We didn't even get a proper training field, because I remember we trained just inside the hotel.
The parking.
Yeah, the park. No, there was a nice grass.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I pulled a muscle. But how he handled the situation, you know, what they said to us, these are the things that you need to go through in order for you to be a complete human being. And since then, we never looked back, because Clive and his technical team, they were there for us. But him alone, he had his own way. He will go one-on-one. Prafani, may his soul rest in peace, will come and say, hey, Clive, Clive wants to see you in his room. I'll go there. Hi, coach. Have I done something wrong? No. Sit down, boy. Doc, listen. Have you ever heard that saying, Guti, an elephant cannot turn? I only heard it from Clive. That's what he used to say. An elephant cannot turn. I'm like, what do you mean, coach? Now, if you can dance, and I'm saying an elephant cannot turn, do you think that elephant can dance with you? So I was like, yo, coach. Man. He said no.
That's crazy.
He remember.
No, I remember very well.
He remember.
Let me take a quick stop break, guys, because after that we're going to talk about dancing elephants, 8 plates there for the entire team. Who knows? Maybe they thought they were dishing up for a 7-a-side rugby team.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live. In 3, 2, 1. On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Welcome to your best life, your time in paradise. It's ladies' night out, and you're dressed to slay. High heels, red dresses, big hats to hide your gray. The finest foods and wines, so order at your will. But bring your bifocals so you can read out the bill.
Wouldn't you rather live the life you dream of sooner? Good things come to those who don't wait to invest. Coronation Trust is earned. Coronation is a registered FSP.
Shapus at Buffet 2. Sign up for Impact Run 5, 10 or 21 kilometers today. You could win one of 4 trips to Ibiza, Spain. 5th August, DP World Wanderers Stadium. Register at impactrun.net. T's and C's apply.
Burger King brings you that flame grilled fever. This one goes out to the one, the only, the Braai Master. He's the king of the coals, although he only ever braais with wood. That red-eyed, steel-lunged legend. Brother, it's like you can breathe smoke. You may be a little weird about those tongs, a little obsessed even, but so are we. It's why we've been perfecting the flame-grilled Whopper since 1954. Burger King.
What does it feel like to be a king?
Step into a world of great entertainment.
Y'all better buckle up.
A world filled with the shows everyone's talking about.
Let's party.
From HBO and the globe's biggest studios. Award-winning, mesmerizing stories to experience on any screen.
If we're gonna do this, let's go all the way.
Watch the international hits, Gangs of London Season 2, Love and Death, The Woman King, and more on Showmax, Africa's original streaming service. Sign up at showmax.com.
Power, precision, persistence. It's no coincidence that so many Ps describe the perfect pickup, or that they also apply to the new GWM P-Series range. Aside from proven off-road pedigree and luxury interiors, the GWM P-Series is the first pickup in SA with a 360-degree camera, semi-autonomous driving, and a sunroof. Get up to 66,000 Rand in deal assistance on the P-Series at dealassist.gwm.coza today. GWM P-Series, celebrating 16 years in SA.
Our man Oscar's night shift just started, but luckily, so has tonight's game. With his attention switched to the pitch instead of the parking lot, he needs just one more result going his way.
Away! This is the final hurdle in Oscar's multi-bet.
With Win Boost, another great feature from Betway, every leg he adds will boost his win by up to 300%.
And there it is. It's a shoe.
He came in like a thief in the night. What a goal. What a win boost. All thanks to Betway.
T's and C's apply. Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
The AFCON 1996 Final 11. Andre Arendse, Sizwe Motaung, Mark Fish, Neil Tovey, Lucas Radebe, Dr. Khumalo, Eric Tinkler, Linda Buthelezi, John Mashweu, Sean Bartlett, Phil Masinga. These are the champions' names of the 1996 AFCON winners, coached by the legend Clive Barker. Rest in peace. #MSW947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
I'm looking at expressions here in studio as that starting lineup was being mentioned. Dr. Khumalo, Dr. Victor Ramatisela are my guests here tonight. What is that doing to your head? I could see both of you. That starting lineup.
You know, Robert. When you if you ask Clive Barker what is the best team that he coached, it is not the Bafana Bafana of 1996. It is actually the Bushbucks of 1985.
The JPS special.
Dave Watterson, Stuart Turnbull, Ron Gonzalez, Annie Wallace, Mark Tovey, Dan Ramaruti, Professor Ngubane, Dennis Weeks, and then up front they had Peterson, Mike Mangena, and Bennett Conde. Now, I think
Doc is like, how's this guy remembering everyone without reading out of a piece of paper?
Now, Clive's putting together of that team, putting players from different cultures and different backgrounds, in 1 year to get that team to go through the tournament. They lost, I think, only their last match in 1985, and they walked with that. They walked through everything: Pirates, Chiefs, everybody. Yeah. That for me was what built the foundation for a coach who would later be able to bring the best out of different types of players that come from different backgrounds and mold them into the Bafana Bafana of 1996. You know, there was a time when before the final, before the semi-final against Ghana, and radio stations wanted to do interviews. And it was amazing because then Clive said, he said, okay, for English, you can speak to, he gave them one of the, I think it was, who was the guy from Cape Town who never really played?
Andrew Tucker.
Andrew Tucker.
Yeah.
And then he said, Radio Sono Grense, you have Sean Bartlett and Andre Arendse. Yeah. Let's say DFM, you have John Tlales, Ukozi, they had Sizwem Down. Suddenly I realized that every radio station in this country would have somebody within the team who could speak the language.
That's diversity.
Now, I don't think you'll ever be able to get that. Now, it was not diversity because of the sake of diversity. Each and every player were there on merit, but they just happened to come from just about every source. So every nook and cranny of this country felt represented in that team, which is why also the support for the team was unparalleled. But Clive Barker managed to put that team together and got these guys, about Doctor, to play to their strength. One coach that never bothered about opposition. Yeah. That was the job of Bocho Amasono and some of the guys, Babaji Ben, who were advising him. He focused on the strength of his players and how the players can work together and cover each other's weaknesses and so as to enhance their strong points. But I say in the process, you also got players to develop a lot of discipline. I was saying to somebody, the goal that Phil Masinga scored against Congo Brazzaville that took us to the World Cup was actually an interception from Dr. Khumalo. Now, Dr. Khumalo was not known to have his defensive side at that time. The second goal that William scored also in the final was also a block that came from Dr. Khumalo. So in as much as he expressed himself, he began to learn and develop into a complete footballer that he became. Hence, he could play in other parts of the world. And many other players improved in other forms of their game. But he also knew how to speak to each and every player. There are players you can yell at, like Fish, like Tovi, and they will take it. But you can't yell at John Moeti. You can't yell at David. Yeah, David Yat is very sensitive. You yell at him once, he gets into his shell, and So he understood each and every player that way and could mold them into an unbelievable side, which today we still marvel at, sadly.
Oh. Trust me when I tell you that you're never going to get a greater insight into the workings of Clive Barker, into the workings of what engineered the success of Bafana Bafana. As the doc said, not only just in 1996, you go back to club football, the foundation level. That is where it mattered most. Nkosnati is in the south of Johannesburg. Good evening, Nkosnati.
Hey, Robbie, thanks for the opportunity, man. Quick one, Brazil versus South Africa. Soccer City. Phuni lifetime siyaphuma siyabraya. Moto ziyadrifta eSoweto on fire. uClive Barker second half. Ngihlangana naye eDurban 2010. I asked him, Coach, then why did you sub? And remember, I was 11 years when that game played. Clive would say, that is one question that haunts me everywhere I go. So I wanted to find out did he get the explanation good? Why was he subbed? Because that was a very special moment. And then lastly, I remember, man, that team was so special. Connector Maken, lawa kwine brand bibabhala lapha. Uthi Dr. Banbani, sisithola nama-second name wabo lapha. It was a very special time. So also lastly to the family, no Matala was a very special human being, and may his soul rest in peace.
Oh, man, thank you so much, Nkosnati. I think, you've opened up that Brazilian can of worms, man. Thank you very much. In the south of Joburg there, that is Nkosnati joining us right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide. Lots of your voice notes. Doc, I spoke to Clive in that interview 3 years ago. It was also had to get it out the way. South Africans were still waiting and saying, but why? We were jumping up and down. We had never gotten to a level of excitement in SA football. Then seeing Brazil looking like maybe it's a Brazil from Katlehong and not the real Brazil. So in my mind, we were sailing until that substitution happened. Got to Gaga 4:10. Yeah. So, and everything collapsed after that. But there was a mention from him saying that I think you had traveled. You were at Columbus Crew then.
Yeah, I was still at US.
So you were in the US then, and you had traveled all the way. So you're feeling, maybe jet lag. I don't know. No, it's your story. You tell us.
I just want to ask the talk. Were you bench?
I was, certainly.
So the discussion between the coaches, did they think I was tired?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, this is exactly. So
they thought you were tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a big argument on the bench. Doctor had just flown in, I think, in the morning.
Yes, in the morning.
And obviously he was jet lagged after a long flight. And there was actually a debate as to whether we should start him or not. And it was Clive who prevailed over the other coaches who were advising him that let's start him so that he can make a difference to the game. And when he tires, then we can remove him and defend the lead or whatever the situation we will have at that time. Because bringing him into the second half, he might come in when the damage is already done. So that was the logic at the beginning. So there was always the fear that he would tire and at some point you'll need to remove him because there was a sense that he was not fit to play the whole 90 minutes. That was the understanding. The issue was always at what point are you going to substitute him? Now, I said to the coaches, I will watch him as a doctor to pick up any signs of fatigue, but also I've had a private conversation with him that as soon as he feels that he doesn't have the stomach to go, all through them, he must just signal to me, and then I will tell the coaches. That was the arrangement. Now, at some point he made one or two mistakes, and Clive felt, hey, I think this guy is getting tired. And then Baji Ben. Baji Ben was sitting on the bench for that particular match. I still don't know why. And he actually used the F word. I said, he's F tired. He's F tired.
So Baji.
And then I said, but guys, they said, no. Baji said, no, Doc, no, he's gone. Let's substitute him. Because I was trying to say, I have a way of checking this professionally, and I have had a private conversation with him. There would be none of it. They are the coaches. They have the final word. And
let's hear from the player, because there's a reason why Doctor threw it to Doctor to find out what was being said on the bench. So how did you feel? Because this, for the very first time, is a Zondo Commission moment.
Yeah. So, Rob, before the match, like the talk rightfully, I only arrived in the morning.
Yeah.
I only saw the guys march to the stadium. And I only learned that I'm in the starting lineup in the dressing room. But the first mandate I got from Clive, obviously, was for me to dance. Do whatever you want. You don't have any strict position that you assign to stick to. But then, guys, these are Brazilian. Yes, of course. They've got a good record. But here, now, there's no way we can go back because we have to go play these guys. There's only one thing that separates you guys from these guys. It's the national anthem. So, go at them. If you have to dance, Doggy, do it. Hellman, if you have to dance, do it. Because they're talking about samba. Yes. We're talking about chibobos, Zamayas, show me your numbers. Do those things. I was like, hey, I understand this is a ticket. So we get in there. So then the first 45 minutes, obviously, we led 2-0. And at some stage, we lost the the rhythm in terms of keeping possession and of the ball. So, but we went, it was 2-0 first half.
Yeah.
When we came back, I forgot who did they introduce.
Rivaldo.
Yeah. Then one of the players, as a sweeper behind the player that was marking me. I forgot. But then I said to I think it was Trinkler, I said, guys, I'm going to be isolated for 5 minutes. wide because I could tell they plotted to if they stop 15, South Africa can't play.
Sure.
But if I go inside, I'm bringing 2 defenders, so we can't play. So let me go outside in order for me to move away it defensive Brazil and this focus it give me alone. So like I'm I think it was combination pass play with one of the players. Then I don't know what happened. So I was looking at this guy, Brazil. He was gonna probably have a throw in, but I could hear the referee stopping the match. I could tell it's a sub, but obviously a sub. I don't even look at the bench because no.
It's got nothing to do with me.
It's got nothing to do with me. But if you look at that clip, you will tell. You can see I took long, Ukpuma, because I was not expecting, and I was like, "Yo, it's 15." Then I even asked, I don't know who it was, am I wearing jersey 15? That's how bad it was. Yeah. And I was not done yet with these guys.
I know.
So, but I had to respect, because there's one thing that you don't want to do ugly and negative. They pull you out when now you're telling the bench, no, F8, no, I don't want to come out. No, that's not how it's done. Yeah. So I went to sit. Rob, I was actually getting a tracksuit top. As I was about to sit, Brazil scored. I was like, hey, what's happening? I'm asking, who was it? I think it was Len for energy drink.
Yeah.
I thought we scored, but Brazil, they were scoring the 3rd goal.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it was devastating.
I felt so bad, and I was like, anyway, what else can I do? But we did sort it out with Clive, and he apologized.
Yeah,
you know.
And he was always a bigger man in terms of the.
It's one of his major regrets. But
he
Robert
apologized about that, about resigning, letting the players down.
Yeah.
So he was never one who was shy to do that. We've got 30 seconds left. Doc, maybe just. I want
to say this as a lesson of leadership for Clive Barker. It's 1997. We are playing England in Old Trafford.
Yes.
We are about to 2 days before the match. These guys will go on strike. They want pay increase. They don't want to play.
Bonuses.
And Clive is asked, if these boys decide to leave, and we assemble a new team, and Clive said, "Oh, don't even go there. If these boys leave because of a pay dispute, whether they are wrong or they are right, I will live with them."
Yeah.
Because if I don't do that, they will never ever play for me again. And this is a story that I tell to many people as a lesson of leadership. That because Clive so much believed in these players, and they so much believed in him, he could not even risk, coaching a different group of players except them. So that he said, "I will die with these players, even if they are wrong." That's a hallmark of a good leader.
That is crazy. And at that stage, I remember, I think the national team coach was earning a mere 50,000 rand. That's all I can say, gentlemen.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Victor Robertisel.
Thank you, Rob.
Dr. Khumalo.
Thank you.
An absolute honor. I know we could have gone on because a lot of these stories we've never heard before.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.